All right, for all you wireless techs out there, listen up. If you spend your days chasing down RF gremlins, you know that the real problems, they're always hidden in the details. Today, we're going back to square one, looking at the very foundation of what we do, the 2.4 and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi bands. And trust me, we're about to bust a huge myth that might be absolutely killing your network's performance. Now, all this great info we're digging into today, it comes from an incredible technical guide put together by the pros at RFI Detectives. And just so you know, this is part 2 of a 10-part series where we are breaking down their entire report chapter by chapter. RFI Detectives are part of Virtualization Options LLC, and we're here to give you those key, actionable insights you can use right away out in the field. Okay, let's jump right in. Starting with the band we all know and, well, sometimes love to hate, the super crowded 2.4 gigahertz space. Now, this idea that you have 11 channels to play with, it's probably one of the biggest traps in network planning. Seriously, it's a direct cause of so many performance headaches. So let's lay out the basic specs real quick. The 2.4 gig band, it runs from 2.4000 all the way up to 2.4835 gigahertz. And here in North America, we slice that up into 11 channels. Seems simple enough, right? Well, this is where things get complicated. And on paper, 11 channels, that sounds awesome. You'd think you have all these options to lay out your access points, to dodge your neighbor's networks. It gives you this false sense of flexibility. But that's exactly what it is, an illusion. And here's the first big catch. The center frequencies of those 11 channels, they are packed in there, shoulder to shoulder, separated by just 5 megahertz. And that tiny little number, that's where all the trouble begins. Now, for the knockout punch, each one of those Wi-Fi channels actually takes up 22 megahertz of spectrum. So just picture that. You have a 22 megahertz wide signal trying to squeeze into a space just 5 megahertz from its neighbor. What do you get? You get massive, unavoidable overlap. It's just mathematical chaos. So let this number just burn into your brain. That beautiful illusion of 11 channels, it just completely evaporates. In the real world, you only have 3. 3 usable, non-overlapping channels, 1, 6, and 11. That's it. This isn't just a best practice, guys. For clean RF, it's basically a law of physics. And ignoring this rule, the consequences are huge. The RFI Detectives report puts it bluntly. When you use any of those in-between channels, you create something called adjacent channel interference. And here's the kicker. It doesn't just mess up your network, it tanks the performance for everyone trying to use that spectrum. You're literally becoming the noise for everybody else. So if 2.4 gigahertz is this crowded, noisy city street with constant traffic jams, where do we go when we need to open up the throttle? We head for the 5 gigahertz spectrum. Think of it as the brand new 12-lane superhighway of Wi-Fi. It's the solution to pretty much every problem we just talked about. I mean, the benefits here are just massive. First, you go from 3 usable channels to 24. That alone is a complete game changer, especially in dense office environments. You also get way less interference from things like microwave ovens and Bluetooth gadgets. But here's my favorite part, and it sounds kind of backwards. Its shorter range is actually a huge plus. It means the signals from your APs don't bleed into each other as much, which naturally reduces interference. Putting these two side by side really tells the whole story, doesn't it? Look at the most important lines here. Non-overlapping channels, 3 versus 24, interference, high versus low. But the real kicker is channel width. Having the option to use wider 40, 80, or even 160 megahertz channels in the 5 gig band, well, that's how you get those blazing fast multi-gigabit speeds that everyone wants. Okay, so we've got 2 bands with really clear pros and cons. 2.4 gig is crowded, but man, that signal travels. 5 gig is super fast, but the range is shorter. So the big question for us is, how do we use both of these to create a single, seamless, high-performance network? The answer is all about having a smart, dual-band strategy. The modern playbook is pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Step 1, use 2.4 gigahertz only for what it's good at, reaching those faraway corners and connecting to those old legacy devices that have no other choice. Step 2, for everything else, your laptops, your phones, your tablets, you make 5 gigahertz the absolute #1 priority. And step 3, and this is crucial, you can't just hope devices make the right choice. You have to actively steer them onto that 5 gigahertz superhighway. And the good news is, we have the tools to do this intelligently. Think of modern Wi-Fi systems as air traffic control for your network. They use standards like 802.11k, R, and V.
These are the protocols that help guide your devices to the best AP, and most importantly, get them to connect to that faster, cleaner 5 gigahertz band. Making sure these features are turned on and configured right is what makes a dual-band network really sing.
So this all brings us to the final question, and this one's for you to take back to your own network. How are you handling this balancing act? Are you letting your APs sit on auto channel and make bad decisions in the 2.4 gig band? Are you actively pushing your modern devices over to the much, much better 5 gigahertz spectrum? Because mastering this balance, that's the difference between a network that just kind of works and one that absolutely flies. Thanks for tuning in.